it's definitely nice. I used to feel much more closed off and just kind of like in my trenches. You know, like I passed through this road from Hokipa to my house, to Hokipa to my house, to Hokipa to my house so many times that I felt like I was on a track, and that track was just getting deeper and deeper the more that I traveled it, and the idea of going elsewhere was always just like, where? Like, where would I go? Who would I see? Why would I do that? And in the last couple of months, I guess necessity and different relationships developing and that kind of thing has made it to where like I'm much more sprawled out over all the island and spend a lot more time talking to people. You know, like I definitely had this self-limiting belief of like I'm not a social person. I'm not.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, like I'm not the kind of person that will open up, and if I do so, it's probably for an interview.
A formal interview such as this.
Yeah, it'll be, you know, like I will share something about myself because that is what is required of me at this time. And then I kind of realized, I was like, well, that's kind of a terrible way to live, so try to do better. And yeah, it's been really nice. It's been like a really nice change in my life that I've been able to actually see, like, wow.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Our thoughts dictate our lives, and the limiting beliefs that we hold really dictates so many things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's crazy, isn't it? The more you realize that, the more you start to try to be careful what sort of thoughts are, you know, that you cultivate.
and I realized that, you know, because I used to think of it as like shyness, you know, and then I kind of realized that more so than shyness, it was like selfishness. And that I felt as though I couldn't live the way that I wanted to or be the person that I wanted to be if I spent more time on others or like opening up to others and sharing with others and doing all that kind of stuff. And I could definitely equate that to like the experience of wave sailing, the feeling of wave sailing, where you get out on like a really sick day and you realize that you have maybe like, okay, 3 hours, right, to get as many good waves as you can, do all your training and your practice and all that kind of stuff, right? And so you're like, I'm not going to say hello to anybody on the beach. I'm not going to share any waves with anybody. You know, like I'm going to be out there and I'm just going to be like in my rhythm trying to catch as many set waves as humanly possible. And you come out of the water having accomplished your goal, but really hating the time that you spent out there, or just feeling really fatigued because you put so much extra load on yourself. And then if you approach it in a different way and you say like, I'm actually just really happy to be here, and I'm also really happy that everybody else is here too, because like how terrible would this be actually if I was here by myself? You know, at first you might think like, wow, this is a fantastic session that I got to sail Hokipa all by myself, but you know, after a few days of that, you'd kind of feel like, well, what am I actually doing here, you know? And then you embrace the idea of, you know, sharing waves and being stoked for somebody else to have like a really great ride, or maybe even riding a wave together and actually being a part of somebody else's experience that you really value, you know, and you know they really value it, so then together you can kind of amplify the experience, and you come out of the water, and rather than feeling drained or whatever, you feel invigorated, and you feel like you're a part of something. And that's always been a little bit of an easier thing for me to process on the water. Like, it's always been easy because I started, you know, with family. Like, my dad taught me how to windsurf, and he stayed a part of my windsurfing for a really long time, where we would go and wave sail together, you know, as much as we possibly could. And so I recognized the value of sharing water time with people that were close to me and important to me and stuff like that, and how much it can enhance a session. And I guess I just never put two and two together and felt like, well, actually that same thing could apply to life. Like, your life is better for the people that are in it with you, especially if you open up and actually share it with other people.
Yeah.
So, which used to be like, you know, one of the big shops on Maui. They just closed down this summer.
I haven't actually been to this part of Maui yet.
Really?
No.
Oh yeah.
Just been going up and down the North Shore.
Well, this is, you know, kind of semi-industrial, semi-consumer. This is where you buy a brand new car if you feel so inclined. And
The Big Smoke.
big smoke, and you know, it's hard to tell, but you can see that there's a lot of houses kind of sprawling up the mountain that way.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's where my family used to live.
Oh, okay. And so your dad's has left the island, right?
Yep.
How long was your dad here for?
Well, I mean, we all came over as a family, so it was almost 25 years ago.
Wow. So that's pretty
Yeah.
big deal, huh?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a big deal for us to come here, and it was a big deal when you know, my parents left, for sure.
Yeah.
Because we came here as a unit, a small unit, very close unit, and we didn't know anybody. But the friends that we made early on were definitely friends that we made through windsurfing, and specifically through Kanahakai and hot sails. That was like our first kind of connection, right? Because Kanaha is literally just down the road this way. So for somebody who just comes here for the very first time, you don't know about haiku, you don't know about anything. You just drive towards Kanaha, and then you look and you say, oh, cool, here's the shop.
Yeah, to be honest, I wasn't really expecting hot sails to be this close to the center of the city, huh? This is
Right.
super interesting.
So,
Look at this. This is cool, man.
yeah.
Are these all your old boards?
Yeah, these are all of everyone's old boards. That's the thing. It's like everybody knows that this fence is here, so they're like, "Listen, I got an old board. I got a board that I broke at Jaws. I got a, you know, beater delaminated starboard.
I love it.
Take it." Because people don't want to get rid of their stuff. You know, they want it to be memorialized. I've got that surfboard, that high-tech surfboard over there,
I was looking at that one. That's
Yeah.
cool, isn't it?
and it's like it's a great place to have it because I know I'm never gonna surf it, but at the same time, I never ever want to get rid of it.
No. I've seen quite a few fences in Maui with, you know, windsurfers and surfboards. It's a cool way to recycle, isn't it?
Oh, it's a tradition for sure. And I mean, if ever I have a massive fence around a massive property on Maui, that'll be one of the first projects.
What is that? What's that brand?
Wind service.
Wind Service.
Wind service.
Oh my god.
Who knows? You know? And that's the thing, is like, obviously there are going to be people that watch your video that are like, I know wind service, like that's from blah blah blah, and you know, I actually had a board from them, but that history is not well kept, you know, and so it will definitely be a struggle to preserve it.
I like the name on the pads. The Maui jump pads.
Yeah, you can imagine, like, oh, you know, that was real tech.
Oh, it's cool.
You know, like, oh my god, your board has jump pads?
Jump
Where'd
pads,
you get
sick.
them? Where'd you get your pads?
They look comfy. Look how thick they are.
Yeah, who made them?
Naha Kai Maui. I love this. I love the feel of this area. It's so industrial.
It's honestly hilarious, really, when you think about it, like having something that is so necessary to society on one side of the road, and then you've got all the fluff.
And something that's so necessary.
Yeah, you get something that is just purely for fun.
Dude, I'm loving this whole experience right now.
Yeah, so there's about, as you go through the shop, you know, there's about 50 active projects. And
Wow.
yeah, no, I found my spot for sure. This is a place where lots of people leave their gear, you know, like, so a lot of people have already left the island for the season.
Hey, look, it's not you.
This
That's
is the
insane.
start of the sail that, you know, I never ever want to not ride. So this is Jeff.
Jeff, I hope you don't mind. I'm filming everything.
Good. How's
So
it
nice to
going?
meet you. Paul's the name.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
You're Australian. I always
yeah.
thought you were Dutch. It's funny.
Well, I was born in the Netherlands, but my parents migrated to Australia when I was 1 year old.
Okay.
So all my family's Dutch,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm Aussie now.
Nice.
You know, watching all the images from Maui and
Yeah.
everything. So to come here and just see where it all happens, it's just a weird experience. I still feel like it's not quite real or something. It's like you're all actors, and
Yeah,
you know,
right.
when I leave, you all just
We
go
kinda
back to
feel
your
that way
regular.
sometimes too.
Yeah.
In 1980s, 9 years old I am. Then started competing locally, got picked up by a board company, did some races, did lots of local tour races around Northeast US. Then got the job opportunity of my life, which was to start the windsurfing division for Hood Sailmakers, which is a giant hood yacht sail company at the time, and was basically picked and trained, full apprenticeship, full running of creating a windsurfing division for them. Worked in France, Japan, all over, Hawaii too. Came to Hawaii first time in 83, something like that.
Yeah, right.
Worked with the boys in Kailua, Paul Morgan and Brian Quinn from Windward Sails and Hood Sails over there.
Yeah.
And then we started using their wave sail designs, and they taught me about wave sails. I was more into racing at the time. Ended up moving out here to Maui in 85 with Hood, and then they closed the division like 2 months after I got here. So I'm sitting there with a sail loft. I'm like, what do I do? So that's where I started a sail company. At the time, there were 11 other sailmakers on
Yeah.
there. So it wasn't really like competitively a great outlook, but I knew how to do the international business and all that. So I gave myself a year to get at the time, getting a Japanese licensee was like the big thing. I was like your proof of concept.
Oh.
And 6 months later, along with the writer Scott Trudon and Angela Cochran, I got the license, started building sails in Japan, then got another license in the Netherlands, and started working it with Top Sails in the Netherlands. And then, started opening up all over Europe and Hawaii, just continuing. And so since 85, that's what I've been doing. I've been
That's amazing.
building and creating hot sails, and had lots of different, iterations of that through the decades. But next year's 40 years, so.
Like, you know, I've come here this is the first time I've been in Maui, right? So I've never been.
First time ever?
Yeah,
Oh,
first
no
time
way.
ever, yeah. And I'm 47, so my images of Maui are from the 80s and early 90s. You know, that's when I was following all the magazines and videos.
Yeah.
So I have this image of what Maui was like, and I've obviously come here now, and it's I can still, like, I can see the cake, but there's a different icing.
Yeah, like for me, it was just brutal day-to-day business. Like, I had many times where I was right on the edge of not being able to pull it off, and it was because of money pouring in from companies in Europe and companies in Japan and all that stuff, and just like here I am, full solo, just like making it work, but all hustle and persistence.
Yeah, right.
Meanwhile, people are getting these hundreds of $1,000 contracts to shape a board or whatever, and whatever, it's all good. The windsurfers were such a dominating force in the North Shore between Hukipa and Kanaha. Basically, it was kind of out of balance, really. But so many visitors and so many people, so a lot of bad actors and things like that going on. But all in all, exciting and fun. If I'd grown up here, I don't know if I would have thought it was that awesome, but it was definitely on the beach and on the water. It was great. It was incredible. And the media back then was, it was, now media's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Right now. There it was like, okay, there's a helicopter going up at 3 o'clock. Let's get out there. You know, it was like whether it was your photo shoot or you just want to be caught in the corner frame of a photo or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was things like that. That was a really big deal. Photographers were like, they were
They're their weight in gold, huh?
They were very important. The media itself takes itself very differently. Like it used to be, media would walk into the room and it was like, you know, like this, like they're here. Like this is, you know, they control what the people are going to see and hear and want and all this. So it was really a big deal, like I was saying, and that definitely is like, it's so broadened now. It's like, you know, kind of like a country. I'll hear there's a magazine in the country, and I'll be like, really? That's amazing. You know,
that's
I
right.
can't believe there's still a magazine.
That's right.
Great.
I know.
That's what's there.
And obviously, I didn't actually know what to expect when I came in here, but this shop is obviously more than just a sale loft. It's essentially a retail shop.
It's 2 in 1. So Hot Sales and Hot Wings is my company. Started in '85. Kanahakai is a shop I started with some partners in 2005. Ended up selling that. Anyways, that's come back to me now. Now my wife Kyla owns that part of the store. So she's a great retailer. She gets, you know, how to do that stuff. I can't. It's not my field.
Yeah.
But and yeah, so I just keep making stuff and keeping things working, and she turned this old warehouse into kind of a little gem.
Like Hot Sales has always, in my mind, operated in this kind of like left of field on the side there. That kind of.
I'm glad you got that.
Well, you know what I mean.
That's
like
pretty much what it is.
Yeah, and also it's when you see a hot sale, it always looks very different to everything else, and also just the shape of the sale, and it's almost like Hot as a brand has just gone, you know what, we're just doing our own thing and we don't really care what anyone else does.
Basically, all through the 80s and 90s, I was really on a warpath to try and get into that top 5 sale brands in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And so you could see it with the brands. We had unique stuff, but we also had pretty standard, like the way we would classify our sales and the sizing and all that. That was designed to satisfy the world markets and business. And then a big crash in like 97, Japan bubble really just boom, fully humbled us.
Yeah.
And so it was basically, I was like, you know what, I'm done with that. I'm not going to follow the World Cup. I'm not going to do this. I want to build the sales I want to build. And if people like them, great. If they don't, then I'll be fine with that too. And that's when we started a whole huge slew of new stuff. Like we had the first high performance kids rigs with their own rigs that would fit 5 sizes and had real mass bend and twist and everything. We started the Super Freak sale, which is the first high performance Dacron sale. People had abandoned Dacron 10 years earlier in sales, and that today, I did that in 2003. We're still selling that sale model. It's the longest running sale model in the world that I know of. And then then there again different iterations. 2007 was another boom, hammer down with that global economy.
Yeah.
And so, but then we cruised along. In 2013, Cowley Ciati reached out to me. He's like, I really want to do this 3-band sale. And
okay.
So
was that his idea?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And so why did he approach Hot and not another brand? Or?
He did approach Neil Pride. They weren't interested.
Oh, I see.
Pretty much everybody was like, can't be done.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so
that's interesting,
I was
isn't
like, okay, let's try this. So I did a sale of mine, and then my sales designer, Tom Hammerton, did another one of his idea. And then we presented him to Cowley. And he like this on this, like this on that. And then we did a third sale, and he also put some input in. And that's what the KS3 turned into, the first high performance 3-batten wave sail, which is still our top seller.
Yeah.
And working with Cowley was super interesting because he knew way more than I ever knew any rider, non-sail maker could know.
I see.
He was like, do this, and Tom and I were like, no, but we were like, okay, we'll do it for you. It like worked perfect, and we're like, holy shit.
And where was that from his experience from previous sponsors? Like,
He pushed Neil Pride pretty hard on there, making that fly sail and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, true.
And so he is a super innovative guy. Board sales, all kinds of stuff. That's his thing.
And you've got the round, version 2
I got
over
the
there.
version 2, the imagination man.
I've been using the KS3 since basically the beginning. So my story is, you know, Jeff mentioned the Micro Freak and the first high performance kit sale, and that's what I started on. And I was telling you earlier when we were at Sprecklesville that it's like, yeah, I remember being out here and my mom filming me on my basically like first wave sailing video, and that video is of basically my first Micro Freak. And so in 2020, when I came back on the hot sails with Jeff, that was the first thing I wanted to ride, was the Super Freak. I wanted to experience that Dakar on sail again. And like during the pandemic, when there was really not much competition happening and everything was just like free and fun and stuff like that, I spent a lot of time on those sails. And as things started to, I guess, like warm up again, and I was looking at potentially competing, I was like, well, what about that Cowley sail? You know, what's the deal with that thing? And yeah, as soon as I tried it, I realized that this was something that I really hadn't ever experienced before, and that there was a lot of potential there for me to like actually start to create something out of my riding that wasn't just what I was seeing from everybody else and trying to emulate them and that kind of thing, but that I could actually do my own thing. And it wasn't until maybe like a year later or whatever that Cabo Verde came along, and that was, I guess, like the first time that like we ever were on like the world stage together.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it was like,
Oh, is that the Cabo just from a few years ago? A couple of years ago?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The one you won?
yes.
Oh.
So it was like, I remember feeling very much like not a pro windsurfer, or just very underground. And I remember when talks started coming out about the Cabo Verde contest, I talked to Jeff and I was like, I don't know, you know? Like, I don't know if it's something that I'm gonna do or something that I want to do, and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. And you were very non-pushy about it. You were just kind of like, well, you know, it's your decision, it's your life, it's what
That's
you
cool.
want to do.
That's cool.
But you probably were like, what are you thinking? Like, you should go and do this thing. And so anyways, I ended up going and doing it, and ended up winning it. And then from there, it just felt like I was kind of married to this sail, and now it's like something that I just love. And it's also something that at first I felt like was just like a down the line thing, and I realized that was another self-limiting belief, where it was like I was also just a down the line thing. And then it has slowly changed, you know, and like Japan this year was a good indicator of like, well, I can ride on shore sometimes and do it pretty well sometimes, and win on the KS3 and make that happen. And like specifically the latest round of KS3s that have come out are with just new material, and so it's a lot lighter. And Jeff, you can speak on this better than I can, because
What do you reckon, Jeff, about, obviously, you know, when you started, I'm assuming it was just 100% windsurfing, and now kiting, winging, supping, foiling, the whole thing. I mean, where do you see all this? I mean, if you had to take a crystal ball 5-10 years in the future, do you think the enthusiasm for all these different things is going to maintain, or do you see some things waning and other things coming back again, or anything like that? I mean,
it's interesting because globally there's hot spots where windsurfing still, you know, firing on all cylinders, and then there's other places where it's like, wait, where'd it go? Yeah. And so right now the big trend, I mean, I've seen it through the years. The first thing was kite surfing. That was just decimating at the time, but it just pulled out all the people who hated waiting around for any kind of wind or anything. Yeah. And then there was stand-up, which people don't really consider to be anything, but it was a major hit on windsurfing because just the amount of money that got pulled out of windsurfing. Not that, and stand-up's great, I love it, I do it, but it was as big, if not a bigger impact than kiting was on windsurfing. And then winging is the latest. And the funny thing is with winging is I've only seen it affect light windsurfing, and for me, big sails. So sails and big sails, way down.
Yep.
Wave sails, about the same. So the thing is that wings and waves, unless you're a kid or you have a death wish. Taking a wing and a foil into serious surf is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
So pretty much all the windsurfers like who live here on Maui, they all wing, but when the waves are up and the wind is up, they put their wing gear, leave it in the back of the truck, and they're windsurfing because wave sailing, there's nothing like it. And with kiting, it doesn't really matter, but definitely winging is looks like it's taking a bigger hit.
The two here.
Yeah.
So if you actually compare the images, you can see that all the battens from the KS3 are still in the same position.
Yeah, I see. Oh, I see. Just a bit more stability in this area of the sail, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, and we tightened up the leech and made it into a power wave sail. So the KS3 is the ultimate control sail, but it's for heavier sailors and lighter wind. It doesn't have the huge amount of guts. So people are like, bigger guys are like, I want a KS3, but it's too mushy for me. So I just stiffened the whole sail up, added the batten, and made it basically a power wave sail out of it. And so it's for heavier sailors or sailors in really consistently onshore conditions, people who are more interested in jumping than necessarily having a really super fine-tuned pure wave down the line wave sail.
Yeah. So, and because the thing is, Jeff, you've been doing this for 40 years, so for you probably think, oh well, you're in that bubble. But for most of it, for all of us, we're outside of that bubble. So yeah. So
You're a wizard essentially, and it's like all of us are just kind of like out here like King Arthur, and we're like doing it, but we don't really know how we're doing it. We're using the sail, but we don't really know how it works or how to make it work better or what have you. We're just like, yeah, this is my sail, and I go sailing on it. Do you remember that time that I was sailing around with a broken batten for like a week and going like, something's wrong with my sail, but I'm not sure what it is. And then you were like, well, this one's broken.
you know what I was thinking?
Yeah.
I would like to have a carpet at home, like a nice rug that was in the shape of a sail. That'd be cool.
Actually looked like a sail.
Oh, yeah. Most of the sails are made these days either in China or like Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
So where do you make them at the
We're
moment?
still in China. I'm still with the same factory that I went to in '87.
Oh, and do they make other brands there? Or
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
now they make mostly wings and some kites.
Oh, of course.
I think we're the only windsurfing brand still there. Yeah.
Band's doing customer service. Did you know that? Did you know that Band's was a retail king? Look at him.
Do you want me to charge
The ultimate salesman.
But also if you're traveling, sometimes they get scared about the card,
I always like the look of these boards. I think they look... I like the colour combination, but it's designed... Oops. Try to do this one-handed. It's got here, I was just looking, Liam Dunkerbeck, but designed by Mark Stone. Yeah, Mark Stone being the Jager's dad in Geraldton. It's cool, isn't it? I love all the connections, all the dots. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, isn't it? You just connecting all the dots. Yeah, I've got the polyester version basically, although this is slightly different design. But the stone boards are they're really popular in Geraldton and just a great shape. Are they all hire boards? Or
are they... Everything on the left is hire boards.
Oh my god!
Yeah, take a walk down. It's pretty good.
I was looking at it. There's a lot of hire boards.
Yeah, it gets busier in the summer. These are all wings and kites. These are all rentals here. And,
they're all rentals too. Oh my god!
All rental harnesses. Basically everything on the left side of the store is rental.
That's crazy. There's heaps here. So.
Yeah. And then down here is like rental kite surfboards. And these are new SUPs, but everything back here is rental SUP.
So you work in this shop a fair bit, Ben?
Affordable prices, huge selection.
Mate,
Calm down.
I was watching you behind the counter there. You're a natural, mate.
Yeah, customer service. My mom has been working customer service my whole life, so I have a customer service voice, and yeah, it's definitely it's in the family.
It's good, mate.
Yeah. 2005 started the store Kanahakai down the street with two partners, one of which was the Stotts again. They were involved in the original Kanahakai.
Cool. Another Geraldton connection.
Yep, and then ended up they ended up selling shares to Bart and Dagmar, who are part of Starboard family, and but the whole time that happened, Hot Sales was always in the same building as Kanahakai. And so even though after I'd sold all my shares and didn't have anything to do with the business, we still worked together. We always had Hot Sales in the rental fleet, this kind of stuff. And then COVID hit. Bart and Dagmar sold their shares to someone who ran it for a year or two, and then decided he didn't want to do it anymore. So it just boom came back to Kyla and I let Kyla run with it. So now, yes, I am here pretty much every day, which is unusual for me because I'm not used to having hours, but still get plenty of time in the morning to surf and in the evening to sail or whatever water activities are happening.
It's dangerous.
But why the name Hot Sail? Where did that come from? Was it?
I wanted something. Actually, the reason I came up with a name is back then I was thinking, okay, I need to create a brand that is going to be easy to sell. So everybody else had their name on it. Like Simmer had Simmer, Multi-Simmer had Simmer Sales, David Ezzy had Ezzy Sales. There was only Maui Sales was its own non-person branded thing, but it was still Maui. It was very small, and I was like, okay, I want something more broad that can be understood globally, really short, concise, and cool. Hot. And it was also a big part of it was like, what's this going to sound like in Japanese and other languages? Like, does this word mean dog head in some other language or something like that? So looked at it a little bit, but the idea, the inspiration was actually to sell the brand. And the ironic thing is that so many other brands have been sold, and I'm like the only one that hasn't sold out.
The business of Hot Sales distribution, does that happen out of here, or does there some, like if someone orders in sales in Australia or I don't know wherever they are?
Yeah, so it's been a big change over the last, since I started the company and stuff. Is used to be based on global distribution, every country with its own distributor. We used to have 26 different distributors around the world. Now we have like 3. So It's changed completely. We obviously sell fewer sales, as does most brands, but we sell way more direct. Yep. So because we're on a little island in the middle of American Hawaii, all the planes come in full with cargo and they leave empty. So we can ship out of here cheaper than almost anywhere else in the world to anywhere else in the world. So to get a sail to Europe is not that expensive.
Look at that. These sails, they float. It's probably, you can't, that is cool. I love that.
Little trapeze system.
Yeah, so you want to see how it works. There's a little jockey wheel up there going down. There must be weighted somewhere.
Yeah, the weights go down the sidewall.
Ah, look at that. Never seen that before. That's another innovation in the Hot Sales loft.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but before we weigh it, I want the manufacturer's quoted weight, and then we're going to have the actual weight.
That's a good question. I'll quote it after we film it, and then you can cut it back in.
All right.
So, 4.9 KS3 in kilos. There you go.
Oh, that's incredibly light, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that says a lot about the sail right there.
Is there much of a compromise in anything?
Your wallet.
So this is the top of the line construction,
this
is
the
it?
lithium model, and
Ah.
released it last year.
And what about oh, I see. So it's these panels here that's the expensive.
It's the whole sail except for the front of the left sleeve and the trim that goes around. Everything else is lithium.
It looks beautiful.
It's Dimension Polyant. It's an American and German company that collaborate on exotic sail fabrics. Pretty much every X-Ply sail, with the exception of Neil Pride, uses this supplier for their laminate. So whether it be Severn or Hot Sails or Gastra or whatever, they almost all use the same brand. That doesn't mean that they don't build their own exclusive fabrics, but they're made by this company.
Oh, okay.
They probably make 90% of sail fabrics.
I'm just going to zoom in a bit so we can see. These, I haven't, to be honest with you, because I haven't used Hot Sails, but I'm impressed with the componentry. That is a solid That is a freaking solid pulley.
That's 316 stainless and naval bronze. That'll last forever. Plus, it's removable and serviceable.
This is cool, isn't it?
This is our rocks webbing. The logo's here, but this stuff is a fabric I developed almost 10 years ago now. And it's fibers that run up and down the sail, the front of the sail, are polyester, so they stretch, but the fibers that run around the mast are the Dyneema Spectra. So you can break a mast in the sleeve, and most of the time the mast won't even come out. You can
right.
sail in with the
really?
Photos of Bant sailing around with a broken mast.
And what about the battens? Because I know there can be a variation in the batten quality between sails, right?
Yeah, we actually had huge batten problems about 10 years ago, and I had to do a deep dive in, but basically it's the resins that they're infused with is what really matters more than the fibers.
Yeah.
And so now we use really high-end Japanese epoxy resins in the battens.
Oh, okay.
And that has pretty much solved our batten crisis. It's serviceable too. Like even our mini battens, you can pull them out and service them.
Oh, okay.
So they come out, but not only are they little 3mm mini battens, they also have a shrink wrap that if they break, you can still pull them out without them exploding into the sail. We figure you're going to be out in the wilderness half the time, whether you're in WA or South Africa or wherever. You better be able to service your own stuff, and it better hold up.
I love it. It actually looks like a really nice sail, huh?
So the cool thing about rigging these sails, one of the big issues with rigging any sail is wrinkling the window, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put the mast in, you have to do and your brand new sail has got a destroyed window. With the rocks webbing left sleeve that we have, you don't travel to the top or the middle of the sail. You literally just pull the mast into the sleeve, and you can't push the mast out of the sleeve under any circumstances. So you go all the way, and you never once wrinkle your sail.
This is actually a good bumper because you know how sometimes you get the bash pads and they're kind of more cosmetic. They're a bit sort of flimsy.
It's tricky because you don't want it so big and bulky that the sail bag turns giant.
That's a sick photo.
And this is the sail that I'll use again for the contest.
Look at the style master. That's mad.
I actually fell.
Oh, did you? You don't need to tell anyone that. I just saw a Hot Sales Maui Toblerone bar. Has it got chocolate in it? I love Toblerones.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
From a Swiss importer.
What?
Yeah, it was a gift.
Do they sell them?
Whenever I've seen hot sails and I see the 4.9, I'm always like, why don't they just do 5? Mm-hmm. Is that just to be a bit different, or what
That was actually Callie's request. You want to do everything in 0.3. So it starts with a 3.1, a 3.4, a 3.7, a 4.3, a 4.6, a 4.9, a 5.2, a 5. 5, a 5.8, 6.1, 6.4, and a 6.7.
Wow, okay, interesting. There's always a story behind everything, isn't there?
There is a bit of a story behind everything, yeah.
My God, that is insane. That hit up there.
One thing that a lot of people don't pay much attention to is the batten tension.
Yeah.
This is an extremely loose version of loose batten tension, but you want to basically get rid of all those wrinkles along the batten all the way to the left. In this case, this sail has an S batten shape.
Yeah, I can see that actually.
Which is one of the main secrets to this sail.
Oh.
So if you don't have enough batten tension, the sail's not going to work as it's designed.
And what's the thinking with that?
Basically, it works as a shutdown, power shutdown. So right now, there's nobody's sheeting in the sail. It's just static, which is what it would be if you were sheeted out. So the S button depowers the bottom half of the sail, which is the most powerful part of the sail. It acts as a shutdown, literally a reverse camber. And so it makes the sail go super neutral.
Is hot the only one that does that, or?
It's the only one that does it on purpose.
How do you know what the downhaul setting is on these sails?
On these sails, there's two real key indicators. One is the amount of loose leech, which the sail, you can see is pretty tight in the leech. There's no loose leech showing. But the main thing is the shape above the third batten, right here by the boom.
Mm-hmm.
You can see, I don't know if you can catch the angle with your thing, but there's wrinkles that are going diagonally out.
Okay, yeah.
And that means that that just signals that you don't have enough downhaul.
Okay.
Those wrinkles should be facing more towards the tip of the sail. And those wrinkles are the shape that's hiding behind the mast when you're sheeted out. So the whole idea with this is you sheet out, all the shape goes rushing forward behind the mast and disappears. So when you come off the top, offshore wind, there's nothing in your hands. It's just elegant solution. Then you sheet in, the mast deflects, the sail shapes in, and you get your power and your drive.
All right, well, I'll see what happens when you're down. Okay, you can see.
That was a perfect example. And here you can really see the S-bend. You can see the S-bend completely disappears.
Yeah.
And it comes into a driving full power foil versus when it's released, the shape S-bends and all the shape goes jamming forward. When he deflects, power shapes in and goes back.
Yeah.
And that's the whole concept of it. So,
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's you can definitely see it on the camera.
good.
So you do your own mast lines as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a couple of different options with like carbon percentages or
We
anything?
have 3 different models of 65, a 90, and 100%. All the same curves, all interchangeable.
Okay.
So, and they're all from the same factory and stuff like that. So it works really, really well.
And is the 90% the kind of heavy wave and the 100% for,
The
performance?
100%, basically the 90% is we took the 100% and, I mean, with slight modifications, we wrapped an extra layer of glass around the outside just
Yep.
for impact resistance.
Yeah.
For rocks and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay.
I said it's not going to be in the video.
Look at that. It looks like, from where angle I'm looking at, it looks like swell lines.
That's kind of neat, huh?
There's a high aspect sail. My God.
Single window, without any shaping panels going through it. Very easy for any sail repair place to replace with brand new film for not a whole lot of money. Is that you're effectively almost getting a brand new sail. So this sail will last a long time. I don't know how long, but
Yeah.
many, many years.
No, it looks like a beautiful sail, and I like the attention to details. I like how you can replace the mini You call it mini buttons, or what do you call them?
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly light. So that's is that pretty much it's pretty much as light as it gets, huh, for sails at the moment.
I mean, unless somebody's done something since I've checked, but this is, from what I know, this is lighter than all the other brands' production sails.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. No, it's cool. And this is your top of the line sail.
Top of the line
Yeah.
sail.
Like what's the price for a top of the line 4.9?
This one is about $1,400
Yeah.
US.
Yeah, because I notice.
And our same sail and conventional materials runs around high 800s.
Yeah. Like, is it still a hard sell to sell a sail at this sort of price point, or is it?
It's just different. It's you don't convince anybody to buy it.
Yeah.
They want it.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
the
Sure.
difference.
Yeah.
So it's the funny thing is that our main customer base are average windsurfers doing back and forth windsurfing. Like
Yeah.
free
Okay.
riding.
Yep.
They're so excited to have the lightness is what attracts them, and then having something completely different than they've ever had. They're super stoked to have it.
Yeah. No, it looks beautiful. So, and I was going to sort of go through your sails, but that could take a long time. So
We don't need to do that.
no. I thought
Another visit.
Exactly. Well, I was just thinking, if anyone wants to learn more, obviously you just go to the website,
Yeah.
and then it's all there.
Exactly.
Because there is quite a lot of models I can see.
Yeah. No, there's a lot.
Yeah, but look, that's I probably should wrap that up because I've already got quite a lot. But it's been super cool to come here.
Well, thanks for spending the time.
Yeah. Oh no, it's so. I know there's going to be a lot of people interested in this, and we all know these brands.
Right.
You know, we know Hot, but just all the details that you just mentioned, the buttons and the materials. I mean, I know for a fact that a lot of people are not going to know all this sort of stuff.
No,
so
they're not. And the funny thing is that we, you know, like I put all my new stuff on social media and stuff like that, but I know I have X amount of followers that might see that.
yeah,
And then all the people on every single other brand that don't follow me, like I don't follow that other brand, they have no idea. Whereas
That's
at least,
right.
like with the magazines, back to that whole media thing, the magazines would come. If you got your little thing in that magazine, you knew everybody in the world was going to see
That's
it and
right.
read about it, and it was a big deal. Now you can do media blitz, and it's like crickets sometimes, and other
Yeah.
times you do something which is just, you think this is nothing, and it just blows up. So it's really hard to get the message across to people
No.
who aren't already following you.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff.
You're very
Bant, it's been a great experience for me, also as a windsurfing tourist, to have this sort of insider, you know, info. And, you know, all the best with everything. And I hope you go for another 40 years.
Backhanded wish there.
Thanks, mate. Cheers. See ya.